Okay, so I have 2 cups of water and 3/4 of a cup of sugar just simmering here, covered. We don't want it to turn into caramelized caramel. We don't want to make caramel. We want to candy the oranges for my lovely blood orange cheesecake. And for that, I can't do it with one hand, but let's try. No, I can't. Okay, so we're going to take slices and candy them. That's going to take an hour. And they have to be much thinner than this. And that's simply for one decoration. But it's how I like to do it. I want it to look great. That's all for now. Thanks, bye. Okay, folks, so this is what candied blood orange slices look like after an hour. I didn't mention that I put 2 tablespoons of corn syrup into the sugar and water mixture, which helps to keep it from turning into caramel because, oh, sorry, it's jiggling because I'm using handheld here. But basically, you can take them out gently, place them on a rack, very gently. These will become a little bit stiff because they will be candied, as I mentioned, and they look really beautiful. The fact is I only need one, and the reason I'm candying them is because you have to make sure that the rind is edible for this cheesecake. And that's the color you have left over. This has done its job and can go away. I'll just add some water and pour it down the drain while these harden. They won't get super tough. They'll just be like candied fruit, like candied ginger and everything people like. But I'll make the crust. I'll probably, it's just a graham cracker crust, and you've all seen that. All right, folks, so graham cracker crust is classic for making the base of cheesecakes. This is not a classic cheesecake. It's much lighter, much fluffier, and because it uses whipped cream folded into ricotta and not very much cream cheese. However, the base is quite normal. And oh, so I have my 7-inch spring pan. I have my piece of parchment that I cut out. I'm going to use, I've got my butter melting. This is all very standard. This can be Googled easily. But, I want to show you everything. So, I have the graham crackers, 3/4 of a cup, already. That's too many. Let me get that back in the bag. Okay, that looks about right. Already crumbled, already blasted. If you were using graham crackers, you would use 3 or 4. Blast them in the, look, that's melted. I always get distracted. Here we go. Blast them in the food processor and you would get the same result, but these are already made for this purpose made. So we now want to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1, 2, mix that up. You can use a fork. La 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 la, yada yada yada. Get this out of my way. And then add the melted butter. It's, it's not chilled or anything. This is going right into the oven at 350. It's preheating at the moment. It's not there yet. So I don't need the butter to be cold or chilled or cooled or whatever. We just want to get it into our graham crackers using a fork, yada, yada, yada. We've all seen this before. We've seen our mothers, our babysitters, some of our fathers who cook. Seen it on TV. We've seen it everywhere. Okay, this is right. Throw it in there. Oh! Electric stove top. This was still hot. So the bottom of the bowl's hot. Yay. I don't think I hurt myself badly. But I think that most of us know how this goes. You can use your fingers, get this nice and evenly around the pan. And the thing we learn from others, many others, is how to use the measuring cup to just press it in and get it even. It'll go, it doesn't need to go up the side, but it will automatically go up a couple of millimeters. That's all good. It's also shifting around right now because I have my parchment on the bottom, but I'm going to try not to do that. I just want to press it down before the butter cools into a lump, and it looks pretty nice. And the curvature here gives a nice side to it. And when the temperature gets up to 350, I'll put it in for 10 minutes so that it bakes into the crust we're all familiar with. And that's it. I don't know if you can see it. It looks pretty good to me. No need to overdo things. Okay, folks. Coming back to the cheesecake. This is not your ordinary cheesecake. It's much lighter, much fluffier, and yet again, it involves making a custard. So I have it's actually kind of a custard set with gelatin, which is kind of like a Bavarois, meaning Bavarian cream, to which we'll add ricotta and a little bit of cream cheese, not very much, only 4 ounces. That's what makes this light and delicate. So I have 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. We're going to add 1 packet of gelatin. I usually use gelatin sheets, but I didn't bother making, okay, I just want to stir that a bit. I didn't bother looking up the ratio of sheet to packet of powdered gelatin for this. I'm just doing it the way they asked me to do. And we let that set for 10 minutes in the lemon juice so that we get all of this to bloom. I also have the zest of 1 whole blood orange. My oranges are small, so this is actually only really a teaspoon. If you have large ones, you don't need to zest the entire thing. We're going to make the custard by whisking 4 egg yolks together. We're going to add 1. Oh, that's the wrong size. We're going to add 1. We're going to add a half a cup of sugar and whisk. I think we also need to add 2 tablespoons more of sugar, if I can find that. Oh, here it is. And that's just part of how precision works when you're dealing with baking. That's 2 tablespoons plus 1/2 cup. I'm worried that these little pieces aren't blooming, so I'm going to poke them down with my finger. And I probably don't need 10 minutes for this because this is already a solid lemony mass for my Bavarois, known as custard plus gelatin, also aka Bavarian cream. Let's stir this all together. We need a pinch of salt, and I have to get my milk out, which I should have done. The fridge is full, and therefore that took me longer than I wanted. I want to do I have to figure out how much milk to put in. Whisk in the milk. All right, babes. Smell the milk. Still good. 1/2 cup milk. It's just like the sugar. 1/2 cup milk. 2 tablespoons more milk. Wow, that's not worth it. Here we go. Now what do I do? Okay, 2 hands. 1, 2. Okay. So much for precision. Okay, so we're going to turn that up and we're going to whisk. Turn on the heat and whisk, whisk, whisk till you're sick and tired of whisking. Actually, it won't take very long. I just don't want the that sugar and I don't want that mixture to be lumpy. Before you turn the heat on, you don't want that. But the thing is, my stovetop is fairly unreactive. So I can stir that and stir that. Whisk, 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 whisk. Until we get the thickening. Using the back of the spoon test, it needs to coat the back of the spoon. It's still cold, possibly room temperature. And at that point, I'll take it off the heat. I'll add my blood orange zest, which is packed with flavor, and some vanilla, 1 teaspoon. I'll get right back to you when we've achieved that stage. All right. Whatever you do, do not let the custard boil. This pan is a little too big, but it needed to be a sturdy pan. Let me just wipe up my little spill. And whatever you do, you have to keep stirring. And I can see that you can see at the bottom, it's getting to the thickness we want for the coating of the back of the spoon test. It's almost there. I wanna just whisk it. It doesn't feel like it's there to me. It needs to have a better consistency. And it needs to really coat the back of that wooden spoon. Here we are again with wooden spoons. That's been a test for so many ages. I think I have this up too high. It needs to be low, and low on this oven stove is not easy to achieve. We're going to keep stirring Keep stirring. Don't let it catch, as they say. And let it get thick. It's nice and thick. I want it a little thicker than that. Let's see, we don't want anything to curdle. It won't curdle at this stage, but you might get it catching, as they say, at the bottom, which is another of those nice old-fashioned terms for burning on the bottom. And I don't know if you can see this, but it looks pretty good. Okay, that's coated. That's coated. Let's give it 30 seconds more. Gosh, it tastes good just because of the sugar. Wait till we add the flavoring. Okay, so I didn't time 30 seconds. I'm just counting in my head as I look. I just made that number up 30 seconds because I want... Okay, that's coating the back of the spoon. Definitely. So we put it in, transfer it to a bowl here. Get it out. Okay. And then this is where we add some flavorings and the stabilizer. This is the gelatin mixed with the lemon juice. This part takes about 7 minutes, and the gelatin part takes 10 minutes, and making the custard takes around 7 minutes. So if you start the gelatin first, you'll be fine. This is going to melt in there. Remember, it's quite hot still. We're going to add the flavoring, which is the blood orange zest. Very nice flavoring. I think I'm going to use the whisk for this. No, this isn't a whisk, this is a spatula. And then, the aroma. Now that's orangey. Okay, so as one does with any custard, we'll do, that's a teaspoon. I want half a teaspoon. I don't want to overpower the orange. Just add to the background. Mix that up and let it cool. And then I'll be back to do the rest. I did not mention that I've had, I'll just put it here away from the heat, that I have 2 cups of ricotta straining in the refrigerator for 3 hours. They call for it to be, often it is called for the ricotta to be straining for overnight in cheesecloth, and I don't have any cheesecloth, and I don't want to make this a 3-day recipe. So I used a fine strainer, and I'll show you later how that worked out. And I think 2 or 3 hours is fine for that. This is going to involve strange ricotta and some other lightening ingredients. Okay, folks, so we're back to the big machinery here. I whipped up half a cup of whipping cream to make whipped cream for the lightening of the mixture, which will fold in at the end. I have been straining my ricotta for over 3 hours using a fine mesh sieve. And let's just get the rest off here because I didn't have cheesecloth, but you can see I got quite a bit of liquid out of it. We want, this is 2 cups of strange ricotta, has 2 T's, so I'm thinking I might say ricotta. I'm not Italian. Anyway, we just want to blend that to smooth a bit. Bear with me. Oh, I guess you have to plug it in, right? That would help. Uh-huh. You want it to be smooth because we're going to add 4 ounces of cream cheese. That's a very little cream cheese for cheesecake, but this is kind of the way I really like it. And we're going to then blend this in using the food processor until it's also very smooth. By the way, that 4 ounces, I weighed it out and it is just slightly over half a cup. So if you want to use the measure on the package, half a cup will do. Obviously, I could have cut it up into pieces because it would have blended quicker, but see the ball of cream cheese? I think I'll pulse it instead for the beginning because that cold bowl of cream cheese is not really blending quickly enough. But we need, I guess it's getting there. I don't know whether to turn the camera off or not. We still have to put the Bavarian in, and the Bavarian is not cold. It's actually still a bit warm, which is totally fine. We want that. We don't want it to turn into a solid either. Remember, it has gelatin in. I'm just going to put this on for another 30 seconds. And then I'm going to pour through the tube the Bavarian cream, which is the custard. See things that you can tell by the sound it's actually happening. And that's adding the flavor and the structure. And it is, let's just check it out. Oh, we just need to take the sides down here to get it in to that mixture, which I can see that the sides are not blending properly. I don't want to cut the end of the spatula off. Let's just blend that for a few seconds. And then we'll have to be, we'll be folding in the whipped cream. This is what makes this so special. I'll be back when I have my mixing bowl. All right, so I have the 3 forms of mixture mixed, blended happily. The Bavarian cream, also known as a custard with gelatin. And I have the 2 cups of strained ricotta. Let's try to save as much as we can here. Get it all in here. And then we have the half a cup of cream cheese. All blended together, the 3 types of filling. Nice and creamy, nice and light. Remember, there's gelatin in this, it will set up. And then we're going to fold in the whipped cream, which makes it even lighter. We'll take a dollop and mix it in. It's always a good step. Yeah. And then the folding happens thusly. Put the whipped cream in, keeping its height, keeping the air. Pretend this is a meringue. It's just whipped cream, but it is created by the air we've whipped into it. Okay, so we have that going. And then you just cut down the middle and fold over. Cut down the middle and fold over. You can see that there are pieces of orange zest. That's going to be part of the flavor. I don't want to prolong this very much because you really can't, you really shouldn't. Otherwise you're not really folding. So I'm going to fold. I'm doing it in two different directions. I've got my prepared pan. Like I said, there won't be any more cooking. Overnight, we will be chilling before I get on to the glaze stage, which is the end stage. Okay, here we are at the stage of, well, the final stage of most of the cake. It's not the final stage. There'll be a glaze tomorrow, which is actually quite amazing. I have my chilled graham cracker crust base. I have my mixture of cream, cheese, 2 cheeses, and a custard with gelatin, Bavarian cream. I don't know, did my hair just get in the way of the camera? So basically, you don't want to do much with this other than smooth it out. And we're gonna smooth and smooth and smooth. Just enough to get it even here. You will see some lumps because that's the part of the flavoring. And it's basically orange zest. And I'm gonna get it all here. And see how beautifully creamy it is. And this goes into the refrigerator, covered with plastic wrap overnight. And if all goes well, it sets up. You can see it's already starting. Then you'll have a beautiful, extremely light, delicate cheesecake, and with a quite gorgeous glazed top, which I think you'll really enjoy seeing. Okay, folks, so the cheesecake has been chilling overnight. More than, well, not quite 24 hours, but overnight. And we're going to start to make the blood orange glaze. However, it's not a glaze per se. It's not going to require melting anything. It's in fact a gelée. And gelées are presumed to be quite tricky, but I don't think they really are. So I just want to show you, I'm squeezing around 7 tablespoons of blood orange juice into a bowl. I'm just gonna guess that that's more than I need. If it's not, then I'll add a little lemon. And what we need to do now is strain it into a bowl like this, because there's some pulp. Nicely done. Look at the color. That's going to be amazing. Okay, so then we need to add 2 tablespoons. 1, 2, into a small bowl, and then bloom some powdered gelatin. 3/4 of a teaspoon. That's a half. And this is a 1/4. Remember your math. And I'm going to sprinkle it over the top because this needs to sit for around 10 minutes, okay? Before we have that bloomed. Then in a little pot, this is my lovely little pot that I use for melting butter when I'm making enriched bread doughs, or whenever melted butter is required. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of blood orange juice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, good. I think I have enough. I'll add a little more because they weren't full to the top. 2 tablespoons of sugar. We're gonna cook. Hold on. Cook. Get the sugar. This bowl was a little damp, so it didn't stay in. And we're going to bring that to a boil in my little pan. I know it doesn't look like a lot for a glaze or a gelée, but I'm kind of crossing my fingers. I've done this before. Wrong burner, blah, blah, blah. It's like this oven wants me to be dyslexic. The 7th tablespoon, sorry for the delay. This actually does require a little bit of thinking. And I've kind of screwed up by accidentally getting juice in my cornstarch. No matter. Just wipe it out. This hasn't come to a boil. And I'm not going to rush it because that's just how you end up burning things. It does have a nice aroma. But we want to add 1/4 teaspoon of starch in this little bowl here. Here we go. It's a little dish. In fact, I use these to make little peach custards and lots of other little desserts. I need a little whisk. I can't find my little whisk, so I'll whisk it this way. You know, a fork would do. I just want it to be incorporated. Okay, so we have our starch and blood orange juice. We have our gelatin bloomed in blood orange juice. And we're just waiting for the sugar and orange juice to boil, at which point we're going to combine them together, and that will be our gelée. Which is also known as a jelly. Anyway, I guess I'll get back to you on that while this boils. Well, I just want to streamline these videos, you know. I can hear it starting. and I can see it. Okay, so I'm not going to do a cutaway here. It's boiling. It's about to. I can see the bubbles. Can you? You can hear it. Use all your senses. Right, so it's already boiling. We're gonna get our spatula here, our handy spatula, and we're going to pour this little dissolved quarter teaspoon of cornstarch in. And we're gonna whisk that up till it's dissolved. La la la. Wow, that's a good flavor. It's not even it smells like cherries. It smells like sour cherries. That's interesting. Okay, and at this point you take it off the heat. Turn that off because you don't want to burn yourself. And then pour it into a larger bowl so that you can really get your whisking action done. And then put in, you have to whisk this in. This is the gelatin mixture with the first 2 tablespoons. Where's my whisk? Let's do it. Okay, so that's not a lot, but it's only a 7-inch. Oh, it's a beautiful color. Anyway, it's only a 7-inch diameter cheesecake. And that has to come down. Oh, I want to add the last bit of gelatin. That's really important. I mean, really important? Not really. Just good to, it's just good to get what you can out of it so that we ensure a stable topping. And that can't be hot when you pour it on the chilled cheesecake. And I'll be right back because this needs to cool to around room temperature. I think I'll put it on the rack with the candied oranges and come back to you in 20 minutes or so. Okay, friends, we're at the the penultimate stage of the blood orange cheesecake. I had made 6, at least, well, I made a few more, but I made at least 6 candied slices of blood orange because I want to have at least one of them be perfect. And this one is perfectly even and circular. So place it right in the middle. Well, as close as you can get. And this gelée here is starting to get a little too close to room temperature and it's starting to set up. That's a good sign, but normally you can do this at lukewarm. And we want to pour it around and around and around on top. And then you want to gently smooth it out so that it covers the entire top. And don't be too fussy. But there's what one might call the glaze. I don't call it a glaze. It's really, it's really setting. That's great. Okay, that's the top of my blood orange cheesecake, the lightest, best cheesecake you ever had. It needs to go into the fridge for at least an hour before you can unmold it. I'll unmold it for you guys. Okay, folks, friends and family, and friends who are like family, we're going to unmold the blood orange cheesecake, which has been chilling beautifully for about an hour and 20 minutes. You can never chill too long, but you can definitely chill too short of a time. So I have this damp cloth which has been wetted with very hot water, and we'll let that maybe get through the metal. It was very hot, but now it's not. Still warm. I just want to loosen up the sides. I don't know how long that takes, but as it sits there, I'm going to, I don't know, is this knife too big for this? Let's see, we're gonna get a knife really hot with hot water. Hold on. I'm guessing that this nice meat trimming knife will be perfect for this, just because it just seems a bit, it appears to me to be much thinner, and I know it's very sharp. And I just want to get the knife off camera. I'm heating the knife with very hot water, and I don't want the water in the cheesecake. I'm just gonna, I can feel it get to the crunchy parts. That's important. I don't want to destroy the look of the cake. I just want to, I can feel the crunch, but it's really the cheese I want out. Okay, that's good enough for me. I may leave the, oh, there, I released it. I released, and we're gonna unmold it. Voila, clunk. I just wanna remove that little piece of cheese. And then the next stage would be to take it off the bottom. Of course, you don't even have to unless you're selling these, and in which case you don't want to give away your pan.